Hello everybody. I did a rewatch of series 1 of Doctor Who recently on my TikTok, and I decided that I would compile all of the parts together into a kind of compilation video which I could then upload to my channel here on YouTube. So this is part 1, which will be about first maybe 5 or 6 episodes of the series and my reaction to them that I did on TikTok. Obviously it'll be in TikTok format, everything will be portrait, and it'll be kind of seem a bit jumpy because I'll be stopping and starting, but I wanted to kind of compile it all in some way and have a way for people to be able to just watch it straight through with the 2 videos that I will do, because I'm going to do a part 1 and part 2. So yeah, that's what this is. And just a quick note before we jump into that, my book The Seven is becoming a Kindle exclusive. It is available to pre-order right now for half the price as what it was before. It's now £5 only, and you can download it directly on August 31st, or you can pre-order it now to guarantee to get your version upon release, just to let you know. So yeah, do that if you want, don't do that if you don't want to, and let's just jump straight into my rewatch, shall we? So I've seen people do Doctor Who first time reactions, but I've never actually seen a veteran do a rewatch, so I figured that I'd give that a go on my channel. So let's start with series 1. Y'all don't understand how much I was crapping myself with excitement as a kid. I watched the classics with my dad when I was only a toddler, and this was the first time I was ever going to get to watch episodes weekly the way he did as a child. Boy, I was so excited. You don't even get it. 2005 was like an era. Let's go! First of all, Queen. That's how you wake up in the morning. Queen. We stand Jackie in this house. We're not taking any Jackie slander. Let's just get that from the beginning too. This is why I'd never be a companion. I would be like immediately out of there. Like gone. Like you wouldn't even see my dust. Fun fact, when this first aired, Graham Norton, like audio from his program kind of played over this part and near ruined it for them. I don't remember it, but apparently it happened. Fucking Derek. Yes! King! King! We stand Chris Eccleston in this house. Okay, but beans on toast is elite, so... Iconic. Pretty sure they used that for a trailer. Beautiful. Jackie! We love Jackie. Oh, this scene makes me want to jump in front of a bus. Ugh. Yeah. Oh, the ears. I don't understand the ears thing. I never noticed what was wrong with his ears. I kind of miss small details like that where you actually see him changing the settings on the screwdriver. Like, you don't see that anymore. I do miss bits, little details like that. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I always think that that's when the man from the Absorbaloff episode gets the picture of her. If you know, you know. Oof, the computer. Look at that dinosaur. 2005, my brothers, 2005. Clive. Justice for Clive, man. Justice for Clive. Oh, the tomfoolery. I love it. Best TARDIS console room, don't at me. It's just a fact. The fact he gets the blame breaks my heart. Same. Same. Same, I feel represented. Best ending to an episode that's not a double-parter. Ever. Yeah, so if you want to see me do more of these, let me know in the comments. Just goes to show how there was like nothing going on in the Doctor's head in this episode when he thought, yeah, the best place to take her is the end of her planet, and, you know, as well as that, let's make her watch it. That'll be fun. Another reason why I'd be a terrible companion is because seeing that, I would probably throw up. Like, I don't travel well, so looking at my own planet, I would definitely throw up.
Okay, but was anyone else like only a kid when this came out, and then you found out that that sun expansion thing was actually true and it would happen eventually, like a really long time in the future, but it would happen? Like that blew my mind. I was scared. I had it in my head that it was gonna happen any minute. Next, second episode. Let's go. Eros Lynn, that director, he is the only director from the classic era to come in for the reboot, I'm pretty sure. So he actually directed classic episodes, which I always thought was pretty cool as well. I had my own psychic paper, but I was an idiot and I wrote Cleopatra on it in pen because I thought that Cleopatra was the most inventive thing you could pretend to be. I was years ahead of River Song. My dad was a fucking troll. He told me to beware of the tree people and to trust Cassandra. I was so pissed when it was over. I was bamboozled and lied to. The repeated meme before memes were even a thing. Okay, is it bad that I have kind of a crush on Jade because she's so beautiful even though she's a tree? Like, she's gorgeous. Jack! Jack! It's so weird watching these back knowing that that's Jack. Oh, I would smack him. I would smack him. Okay, but this was like perfect casting. Like this is Zoe Wanamaker is Cassandra. It's just perfect casting. I can't listen to this song anymore without thinking about Doctor Who and Chris Ferguson's dancing. Okay, but this is something I miss about Companions as well. Rose is overwhelmed by seeing all these aliens, and that is a natural human response. Nowadays, they focus too hard on trying to make the companions badass and cool that they forget to make them human. You can't pretend that you wouldn't be overwhelmed in a situation like this, because you would. And she eventually gets used to it. And she grows to, like, be able to interact with aliens, but at the start you would be completely overwhelmed by it all. I miss side characters that I care about as well. You barely get to know this woman, but when what happens to her happens, I felt so sad, but I actually grew to care about her without needing to know everything about her. She's only in it for barely 5 minutes. That's good writing right there. Trauma dumping on the first person that you meet. Relatable. Continued in part two. I don't even want to think about what these spiders did to her. Like, probably really bad. I would have been glad for this when I was having to learn French and Spanish in high school. I always get so emotional at this, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm really close to my mum or something, but just something about her calling her mum always gets me kind of choked up. Also, the fact that this is probably the last time Jackie speaks to Rose before she goes missing for a year. So it's pretty sad. It's giving The Room. Reminds me of the Tom Baker line. So what was it? Said the iceberg to the Titanic, and he goes glub 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 as he goes back into the car. Bloody pedigree, freaking like dog breeding. It's weird. They don't do scenes like this anymore. Ever since Gallifrey came back, you don't get this kind of emotional moments talking about the planet anymore, and it's such a shame. They kind of butchered Gallifrey in the newer episodes. Look at that emotion. Look at that. You don't get that anymore. Those guys are robots. I don't know how she didn't have a big welt on her face after that. Okay, but Britney would be the best representation of Earth music. Iconic. Another addition to moments I would die. I wouldn't work as a companion. I would have been crispy by now. Like, I'd be dead. You know what would have happened? I wouldn't have fucking woke up. That's what would have happened. That's why I would have died. And in that moment, I would immediately need the bathroom. A meme is just an idea, folks. You don't get the same humour when Christopher Eccleston leaves. Oh, so perfect. I think it's the first time you're Time Lord in this. Oh, she deserved so much better. She deserved so much more. Oh.
See, even like moments like this in like seemingly nonsense, like not nonsensical, like unimportant episodes, just so good, so good. Even the simple act of telling someone's parents, like you don't get that kind of emotion anymore. Like listen to me, you can hear it in my voice. I'm choked up. Don't know if I can show that explodey bit, but she's salami now. Cassandra Salami. I'm gonna talk about the final scene when they go back to Earth in a completely different video from this one because I have a lot of thoughts on it, like Gallifrey and stuff. Nine and Rose are elite. I love them together. My friend hates it, but I actually love how they make Earth and humans seem so like important and so much bigger than we actually feel like we are ourselves. It just means a lot to me as a pathetic little human, you know?
My planet's gone. It's dead. It burned like the Earth. It's just rocks and dust. For its time.
In Classic Who, the Gallifrey was all over the place. Like, it was always part of the story. It was always in episodes and stuff. You saw Time Lords all the time. But the way that the Doctor talks about the war and his planet and how much he loves it whenever in the New Who, because it's not there anymore, they're some of my favourite scenes because the actors, like David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston, they always did it so well. They always acted it so well. It was so well written. I always get choked up. And I feel like now that they've brought Gallifrey back, they didn't do it well enough that it feels like justified. Like, I know it was supposed to be like a whole, the Doctor kind of romanticized Gallifrey because he doesn't want to think about what happened at the end of the Time War. But the way they bring them back, it just never felt like they'd done it right. It kind of makes these scenes feel redundant because of how badly I feel like they handled Gallifrey, if that makes sense. And these are some of my favourite scenes. The end of Gridlock is my favourite scene of Doctor Who of all time. And just how they handle Gallifrey once they bring it back, it just annoys me because I love these scenes so much.
There was a war and we lost.
Daleks. Oh.
What about your people? And the Time Lord. And the last of the Time Lords.
Oh.
They're all gone. I'm the only survivor.
Mm.
I'm left travelling on my own because there's no one else.
Doctor. I'd maybe want a break.
Yeah.
Same. Same.
No money.
How does she have money on her? She only has some pockets. After everything she's went through, how does she have money? Oh, I love it so much. Series 1 is the best series. Don't at me, I'm right. So I've been on holiday over the weekend, so that's why there hasn't been any more uploads on my rewatches, so let's get started again. If anyone has been to a wake before in their life, the body always looks like it's moving. So every time I'm at a wake, this is like my worst nightmare. This is what happens when you don't make peace with your grandmother before she dies. This is actual literal nightmare feel. Like, I know Doctor Who has episodes like Blink and stuff, but look at this shit. Look at this bitch! Oh my lord! I remember also when I was little, I lost a tooth. I was sitting on my dad's knee and I pulled a tooth out of my mouth just before this episode started. It's the weird things that you remember. It really is. Quiet Dead, let's go. Also, quick thing, I was wrong about Eros Lynn, just the director that showed up there. It's actually Graham Harper, who's from the classic era, that comes back, just to clear that. We stand Gwyneth. She is an ancestor of Gwen and Torchwood, and let's just say we stand Gwyneth more than Gwen. Gwen sucks. Oh, I miss moments like that. Just on the floor laughing, because the TARDIS just fucking lands like a janky piece of garbage that it is. A janky piece of garbage that we all love, though. Fuck Mr. Sneed. Gwyneth is so innocent, and he's just a piece of shit.
This is the start of the famous historical figures in Doctor Who. And it's an interesting start, Charles Dickens. Like, he's not my favourite historical character to come in, but he was definitely a funny one. I love 9 and Rose so much better than 10 and Rose. I just, it's a lot more subtle and less in your face. Like, they try too hard to get you to ship 10 and Rose. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I prefer 9 and Rose together, not even romantically, just as like a partnership. Not Americans. UK, England people, explain to me what is with the Cardiff thing? What? Is it just like a joke thing that nobody likes Cardiff, or what is it? Someone explain to me if you can. This is the ancient version of an audiobook. Like, that just occurred to me. I was just like, this is what they did for audiobooks back in time. I love Christopher Eccleston so much. I love, even after all of the Doctor has seen, he is still capable of being a fanboy. Like, it's so relatable. Ugh, too relevant to nowadays. He has a point. Screw that. Oh, screw it so much. No. Nuh-uh. No. Oh, the rift. This is when the rift starts. Yes, I remember. Oh, shit. For such a seemingly, like, insignificant episode, oh my god, it's actually got big ramifications. Why did the Doctor smile at that? That's one thing I don't understand. He shouldn't have smiled at that. That is assault. We hate Sneed. That is fucking disgusting. Even Charles Dickens is acting like a human here. In Modern Who, they kind of make them all kind of annoyingly like, oh, I'm not afraid. I know everything about aliens. I can totally accept this. Where's the Wi-Fi on the moon? It's so annoying. I much prefer it when they play it like this. This is the Rose that I love. This is the Rose that I love who isn't like looking at like like any woman who goes near the Doctor, and I like this Rose. This is the first mention of Rose's dad, which is another episode that really gets me going. Like, it's the same whenever Rose calls her mum. The episode Father's Day gets me going as well. There was mention of Bad Wolf in the previous episode, and I forgot to bring it up. Bad Wolf is the best consistent thing throughout the series. I absolutely love the Bad Wolf payoff, and it's so exciting to see it mentioned for well, not the first time, but the first time I've noticed it. A big theme in this series is how the Doctor is dealing with the Time War afterwards. And this is very much an example of how the Gelth manipulate him through this. I don't know if they know that he's a Time Lord, but they definitely manipulate them through this. And the Doctor, that's why the Doctor is so, like, vulnerable to it, because I feel like he would have seen through it otherwise. It's like Rose, this is an example of Rose then showing, like, being the voice of reason, like, this can't work. Like, can you imagine, like, our dead, like, loved ones, like, walking around again? It would be insane. And Rose also seems to be the only one who gives two shits about Gwyneth. Even though Gwyneth does say that she ends up saying that she wants to do it, Rose is the only one who's just like, you don't have to. They're always aliens, Charles. It's never ghosts or something supernatural. It's always aliens. It's not the same. Donor cards are not the same as walking around in somebody's whole body. Who they were, it's not the same. I love the rules that they lay out, because they kind of, in Matt Smith's era in particular, they start going like, time can be rewritten, you can do whatever you want. I like the idea of the flux and the fixed points, because it gives a sense of urgency or importance to what's going on instead of, it doesn't matter, just do what you want. And there she goes. Poor Gwyneth. Ugh, more nightmare fuel. Oh no, Mr. Sneed. I'm so devastated. I love this reference. It reminds me of Jacob Marley talking through the doorknob. I think that's the point. And it's really clever. You see, in the same way that the fixed points have consequences, the fact that time can be in flux as well, it also has consequences. Rose can die. It adds urgency. What is it with Cardiff? Someone explain. I love that Charles came back for them, because he didn't have to do that. Another one episode character arc. It didn't take a lot, and it's effective. Poor Gwyneth. I can't believe we're supposed to believe that Gwen is descended from this legend. Like, Gwen sucks so much, and Gwyneth is just... she's just amazing. And I feel so sad for her. Again, a side character that I'm devastated is dead. I always think of that the second she steps onto the arch. I just think, well, she's dead now. Ugh. I absolutely love that. Not that no one will know, but I love, like, the point that they're making. It's the same as the what was her name point in Midnight. I prefer that over the, Agatha Christie wrote a book about a wasp. It just seems nicer and more realistic. I love this ending that's coming up.
Can you imagine your daughter's been missing for a year and then she just comes in like, oh, I spent the night at Serene's, like, oh my god. Poor Jackie.
It's not 12 hours, it's 12 months. You've been gone a whole year. Sorry.
Like, my lord! Oh my god! Aliens of London, let's go. Like, this is nowhere near, like, the trauma that, like, Martha's family goes through, but this is still pretty friggin' traumatic for Jackie to have gone through, and Mickey, but we'll talk about Mickey when he pops up later.
When you say companion, is this a sexual relationship?
Pretend you're a doctor.
I am a doctor.
Stitch this, mate.
Icon. Absolute icon, and he deserved that. Like, to Jackie, the Autons attacked, and then Rose calls once, and then she's gone. No wonder she thought that she was dead. Like, no wonder. So it's like technically 2006 now for Rose. That's kind of mad to think about. So they're kind of... Doctor Who's kind of a year ahead. At least for the two series that were with Rose. Fun fact here, this was in like the next time after the Unquiet Dead, the spaceship crashing into Big Ben, and I was in P2 at the time. For those who aren't like in the UK, that means about 5-6-year-old. I was so excited that I was telling everyone in my P2 class for the next following week that aliens had crashed into Big Ben, and I don't know if they actually believed me, but I was telling everybody. Like, I was as if it was something that had actually happened. I was telling people a spaceship had crashed into Big Ben. I was mental. Brilliant though. So British, the traffic jam, and everyone complaining. He's so full of shit. Trinity Wells! I don't know when they name her, but she becomes such a recurring character that they name her Trinity Wells. Oh, it's so...
oh, it's so human. Everyone has a friend and her mum's friend who comes in and they're always gossiping with each other and sometimes bitching at you. Oh, Jackie. Oh, Blue Peter. I used to watch Blue Peter all the time. The Absorbaloff was actually made from a competition run by Blue Peter. Fun fact. Tosh! It's Tosh! It's not even just the actress, that is Tosh! Everything is connected! When you've watched Torchwood and then you rewatch this, then it's just amazing how everything connects up and why she's actually there. Harriet! Oh, I love her arc. I'm not a fan of what she does in the cigarette thing, but I do love her redemption arc. It's amazing how calculated the Slitheen were in this, that they made sure that the line of command was blocked out all the way to the point that this man who's in charge of exported sugar confectionery, the only man that they could infect because he's larger, it was the one that had to be Prime Minister. Unit should have interfered way more sooner than they do in this, but then they don't really properly introduce Unit again. They're in this, they're right before the cliffhanger, but they don't really introduce them properly until later, so yeah, well, that's what humans do. Top up cards. Fucking remember top up cards. You're such a liar! You're such a bullshitter! That basically means here's my key. I am gonna leave it, but I'm coming back. Right, we need to talk about Noel Clarke for a minute. I know that there's a lot of stuff going around at the minute about Noel Clarke, and for this rewatch to work, we need to kind of separate him from the character of Mickey. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, and I'm not saying by any means to forget what he's been accused of, but there's no way this rewatch is gonna work if we don't separate what's happening, what Noel Clarke has done from the character of Mickey. So we're just gonna have to talk about Mickey without kind of thinking about Noel Clarke, and I know some people can't do that, but there's no way that this rewatch will work if we don't do that, if that makes sense. Me. Because yes, important door with important documents inside. Let's leave open with the woman who wants to go in. I know, plot convenience, but still. Best reaction when guns pointed at you. I love the command that the doctor has, they just immediately, follow him, he just shouts a few words and they're like, oh shit, better do as he says. They're like, oh, alright, guy we don't really know. Oh, I love the little pig. I feel sorry for the poor little pig. He was so scared. And he's like, bitch, I was scared too! I mean, poor pig, though. I feel so sad for it. He was scared. What was even happening here? What? More nightmare fuel. Just to put you to bed with.
Victorian showmen used to draw the crowds by taking the skull of a cat, gluing it into a fish and calling it a mermaid.
I was at Ripley's, believe it or not, on my holiday, and I actually saw an example of one of those mermaids. It was pretty interesting. I can't remember if Tosh ever remembers whenever the doctor comes up. If she remembers meeting him. I don't think she does.
It's not my fault. Be fair, what was I supposed to do?
I don't think it's discussed enough that Mickey was investigated by the police because of Rose going missing. He's a black man in 2005 in London, and his pretty white girlfriend goes missing. Of course they were going to blame him because, that's how the system works. And it's not fair on him. Really not fair at all. It was kind of vile, to be honest. He didn't do that often. They scrapped that idea pretty quick. Love it. Love this doctor so much. Some people really blame Jackie for what she does here, but to me she does what any like any mother would do if they knew. Because, like, she doesn't know about aliens. It's not the way Rose knows. And she just does what any mother would have done in the same situation if she had known that, or thought or believed that her daughter was under threat. Rose was missing for a year with this man, remember? She just does what any mother would have done. I'm sorry. We still stand Jackie. Only 2 engaged tones. That's pretty impressive that she got through on the 3rd ring, considering what's going on. Can't even get into my GP that quick. Liar, you did not.
Mainly because everyone thinks I murdered you.
Ah! Fair enough. Not fair on him, but fair enough. People make fun of the slithing because of the farting thing, but the whole skin suit stuff is actually horrific when you think about it. Like, when you actually sit down and think about it, it's actually horrific.
United Nations Intelligence Task Force, good people.
It's a shame they didn't get the Brigadier into Doctor Who. Like, I know they got him into the Sarah Jane Adventures, but it's a shame they never got a chance to get Nicholas Briggs into Doctor Who before he passed away. No offense to anyone who thinks Mickey was a coward, this was just him being smart. Bye! I'd be gone too. Yeah, so David Tennant, you did say it before. Just saying. Put your seatbelts on! Put your belts on! I bet you, like, all the, like, news reporters and cameras are just like, who the flip are they? Who in the name of good God?
Are you the doctor? Sure. No, it's busy. I just need a woman.
Can't you go home? I love Harriet Jones, but I can feel his frustration. Like, why are you still here? You... Ugh. Man, I wish I could read that quick. It would be so helpful. So convenient. Like, if I was Harriet, I wouldn't even, like... Probably another reason why I'd be a bad companion. I would be, like, in bits. I wouldn't even be able to speak or find anyone to help. I would just be traumatized. Oh, and there's the Prime Minister. Whoops. Oh, the blood runs cold. Ooh. Jackie is innocent! We do not stand for this! Jackie is innocent! Oof.
This is all about you might not party while I'm staying in the wood.
One of the best lines ever. Oof. The CGI. Not the best, but I like the actual prosthetic costume of the Slitheen, just that CGI, it isn't great. Oh, and they're doing it again. Oof. The subtitles just said slithery squelching, and I really didn't need that. Really, no. Ew. Harriet's face! Look at that! Sorry, my mum's hoovering. The costume is brilliant! Look at that! And they're like classic looking alien, like green, black, beady eyes. Brilliant, perfect. Kind of an iconic line as well, not gonna lie. It kind of, like, the cliffhangers used to be so good. So good, but then maybe, because I haven't watched Doctor Who in a very long time, like, since Capaldi's era I haven't watched regularly, so I don't know about the cliffhangers, but they did away with the double parters for a long time, like, it was in, like, maybe Matt Smith's era or so. I just love them so much, like, even though you don't have to wait so long anymore, because it's all on BBC iPlayer, it was still so great to experience, and I always remember what I felt. Oh, I miss it. I really miss feeling so excited for the next one, having to wait a week. It was amazing. Frustrating, but amazing. My dad always had a point where it was kind of like the resolutions for some of these cliffhangers are kind of anticlimactic. Like, he literally, like, just rips the ID thing off. Like, okay, alright. This is clever, though. And I love Mickey coming in a minute. Let's go! Justice for Ramesh. He was just doing his friggin' job. Mickey and his chair becomes a staple of his character. And his phone here, oh my god. His little black phone, look at it! I'm sorry, there's no way he got back into that suit in time. How far away was this meeting actually happening? Like, my god. Never mind. Ooh, the effects once again, not great.
I think you'll find the Prime Minister is an alien in disguise. That's never going to work, is it?
Brilliant.
If I was going to execute someone by backing him against the wall, between you and me, little word of advice. Don't stand them against the lid.
Oh, just so many great moments. God's sake. Like, I just want to, like, just record the scenes and just laugh, because it's just, it doesn't need explanation or words. It's just hilarious.
I need to be naked. Rejoice in it. Your body is magnificent.
As a kid, I couldn't contain my immaturity. Like, the word naked just set me off. It didn't matter how serious the situation was. That was just me. Like, it broke me. Harriet's faces are just iconic. Ooh. Ooh. Honestly, no matter what Harriet does with the cigarettes, like, we'll get to that, she was kind of an icon. Like, she just was willing to sacrifice herself for Rose, even though she barely knew her. Love it. Pretty much the rest of the episode for these guys is in this cabinet room, and it's still bloody brilliant. Like, they still pull it off beautifully. Lots of planets have a north. We've learned this. I wonder what their species is actually called. I don't know if they've ever really brought it up. Is it Raxacoricophalopatorian? Is that just it? Is that just what they are? Is this true? Can I do this? I don't think I can. Am I wrong? Hey, they're safe. You figure out getting out later. Noel Clarke and Camille Couture got to the final of the Doctor Who Weakest Link and voted out David Tennant because they had so many scenes together and had gotten so close. People hated them for it, but I thought it was bloody hilarious. I want to see Jackie do a conga. Are those mugs cleaned? Not just rinsed, Mickey? Are they clean? I love Jackie and Mickey's relationship, even though evidently when Rose was missing, it was kind of tumultuous. I love their, like, how they get on here.
You saved my life. God, that's embarrassing.
Telling me.
I don't know. I talked to him.
I'm pretty sure I heard someone call him Ramesh.
I never asked his name.
Sorry.
Launch a nuclear bomb at them. You're a very violent young woman. I'm serious. Well, there's nothing like that.
Wouldn't a nuclear bomb just, like, friggin' take everyone out? Like, not just the Slitheen? That is a good photo for that little phone he had. I love how he checked his wardrobe in case there was, like, a Slitheen hiding in there. Aww.
Listen to her. Please don't try.
Oh, my mum would be the exact same. I love my mum, but she would be the exact same.
This life of yours, Doctor. And maybe you get off of it. And maybe you think it's all clever and smart, but you tell me. Just answer me this. Is my daughter safe? But Fleur, is she safe? Will she always be safe? Can you promise me that?
We stan Jackie so much. She loves her daughter so much. And I don't think that's appreciated enough. She lost her husband, remember? And she's worried about losing her daughter. I love the way he was checking his wardrobe a second ago and now he's just like, oh, go answer the door. Priorities. Oh, I love the hand gestures. You know, we always say that Mickey's character arc is that he gets braver, but honestly, the first episode, Rose, is really the only episode where he's kind of cowardly. He's willing to take on this big thing with a baseball bat. He's ready. See? I didn't know what narrows it down meant as a kid, so I thought he was telling them that they're wrong here, not that it's actually narrowing down the planets. I know I say this a lot, but a great line from Mickey is coming up. Oh, it's in their face, in their mouth. Oh god. I love how in the Sarah Jane Adventures they go to a chip shop and they kind of arm themselves with the vinegar that they give out in chip shops. I think that's brilliant. Do you think Boris Johnson is the Slitheen? Do you think that's why everything's going to hell? Do you think Boris Johnson is an alien trying to ruin us? I'd believe it. And yet no one questions why the aliens didn't kill the Prime Minister. This goes to show how people don't really switch their brains on an emergency. It's not necessarily a criticism, because everyone's panicking, but, you know, turn your brain on. The aliens really need to get their act together in Doctor Who. Like, if they just killed them now, then they would have won. That would have been it. But no, they have to talk. Mic drop. Fucking mic drop. Streets are empty. Just like lockdown. I was just focused on the Skittles. Stan Jackie always. Oh, I really miss this Rose. She really does change, and not for the better, in my opinion. Hey, are you? Pop off, Queen. See, she doesn't even stop him. No matter how much, like, she wants to. God, I love Jackie. I didn't actually realise how much I loved her until now. See, Rose used to be so good. And the lovey-dovey stuff with David Tennant really ruined her. Really ruined her character. Bless him. Honestly, this guy's an underrated character. We don't even know his name, but he literally saved all these people. Another reason why I'd be a bad companion, I'd probably be crying by now. Queen. Oh god, it's gonna get me teared up again. Shit.
Taking all the credit. Should be you on there. My daughter saved the world.
Okay, this is the best line coming up. Best Christopher Eccleston line. That's my favourite. They should have went back after 10 seconds. Like, even if they just went into space and came back down, they should have done that. I don't know why they didn't. Poor Jackie.
So that was the first part. I'll upload the second part hopefully sometime soon. Let me know what you think. Like, comment and subscribe. Don't do anything if you don't want to. I don't want you doing things like that if you don't want to do it. And pre-order my book if you want. Or just buy it on the day it comes out, August 31st. Again, if you don't want to, don't do it. I don't want you doing anything you don't want to be doing. And I'll see you in the next part.